Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Wealth Guardians radio program. It's a fine October morning, and of course, Brice is with me running the board op over there. Good morning, Brice.
Good morning, Doug. How are you doing today?
We're great. It's almost Halloween.
It is almost Halloween, and something special happens on Halloween, but I can't quite think of what. Oh, it's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
53 years in a row it will have been my birthday on Halloween Day.
Well, they didn't change it, did they?
They haven't changed it. No, like my grandfather, his birthday was on November 27th, and every once in a while that was Thanksgiving.
Right.
But I, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Halloween. Best birthday to have because it doesn't interfere with, you're born on December 24th, so that kind of ruined things gift-wise. Yeah. You got gypped out of a lifetime of birthday gifts there, I'm sure. But this doesn't interfere with gifts, and all of your friends remember your birthday. Exactly. And you get to dress up for your birthday. So, yes, thank you very much. And, of course, another thing that makes this time of year great is football. Boy, there have been a couple of good college football games lately where the fields have been stormed by the home team, the home crowd, because the unranked teams are upsetting the top 10 teams. That's always great to see. I love that. And your Packers had one of the best throwback uniforms I've seen.
Wasn't that a cool looking uniform?
That was right back to my youth. I loved that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I wish teams would do that more often.
You know, I'm sitting here wondering what in the heck is going on with the Panthers, though.
So many teams. The Broncos are about to, there's just...
It started 3-0, and they hadn't won a game since, and they got blown out by the Giants.
Same thing with the Broncos, and I would not be surprised to see Elway announcing a new head coach here at some point, halfway through the season. We too were 3-0, and now we're 3-4. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm starting to think maybe Matt Rule was just not ready for the NFL yet.
Yeah. Very possibly. Yep. Well, what are we talking about today, Doug?
Well, we're going to talk about inflation because that seems to be on everybody's mind.
It is. It's coming up a lot in our planning process.
Before we do that, though, let's, as we always do, let's go out and give a big thank you to our first responders, our service members, our veterans. Thank all you guys and your families for everything you do and have done for us. We greatly appreciate you.
We do indeed. And Doug, did you know that this week was the 100th anniversary of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier I
did not know that.
At Arlington. And my father is buried directly across the street from that, literally 50 yards from that.
From his grave, you can see it.
Yep, absolutely. Wow. It's right across the street under a big tree. So that's a very interesting concept there, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So to all those and their families who are in Arlington, we thank you for your loss and your service and your sacrifice.
Before we get talking about inflation, I want to remind everybody we do have a couple Social Security events coming up quickly.
Special ones, too.
Yeah. November the 4th, November the 9th at 6:30. We have Hamilton Morales coming in to present at those workshops. Hamilton is, I've teased him a ton by calling them the walking, talking, breathing encyclopedia of Social Security. You will not stump this guy on a question, I promise you. He taught Brice and I everything we know now about Social Security, got us our credentials with the NSSA. You don't want to miss Hamilton. He is excellent. I promise you it'll be worth the hour that you spend with him. Now, prior to that, you might want to go to our website and download a paper we have called The 4 Critical Social Security Facts Retirees Must Know. So you can go directly to the website at thewealthguardians.com, or we've got a brand new way for you to access that paper. All you have to do is text 4 SS Facts to 336-391-3409. That's 4 as in the number 4. SS Facts to 336-391-3409. So give that a try, and I think you'll like what you read on that paper.
And if you are the first person to do that, Doug and I will offer you a free second opinion on your financial plan and see if you are ready for retirement. But the first one.
How about a free jar of pennies?
Well, that's up to you. That's you are in possession of the penny betting jar right now. By the way, folks, I texted Doug last week when I saw that Was it your college team? No, it was Navy. Navy was playing, who were they playing? Penn?
Cincinnati, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay, Cincinnati, number 2 team.
Yeah.
And I texted Doug, said, I'll give you 20 points on the game. Doug never responded.
I didn't.
They only lost by 7.
Yeah.
I would have owed you whatever you wanted to bet. I was sure you guys were going to get annihilated. And you actually put up a good fight there.
Yeah. Well, let's get into inflation.
All right,
Speaking of
let's
that, we know it's here. In fact, Social Security recipients are going to get a 6% increase because of it. Brice, when we first started hearing about inflation, which was probably the first part of the year, the Fed came out and said, "Oh, it's transitory. It's not going to last."
Yes. Temporary thing.
6 months, a year, maybe. That's because we're coming out of the world economic slowdown, not slowdown, but just complete shutdown. And it takes time to retool, rebuild, rehire, that kind of stuff. And that made a lot of sense to me. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't anymore.
Well, how long is transitory?
Exactly.
If it's 5 years, is that still transitory?
Exactly. I mean, how long does it take to get a chip factory up to make chips for cars? Look at all these ships just sitting out there in the water.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I've got a couple of things I've ordered, I'm sure, sitting off the California coast there somewhere.
My wife and I went down to Hilton Head a couple weeks ago, and in fact, we talked about it in our last Friday newsletter to our clients. I was watching TV, I think it was around lunchtime, and they were reporting from the Savannah port, and they showed pictures of the ships just sitting off the coast down there. I looked up off our balcony, and I saw them. It was the weirdest thing. I'm sitting there watching TV of the report, and then I'm seeing these ships out there. And I'm going, my gosh, why in the world are they? I mean, is it they're blaming it on truck drivers?
Truckers is the big thing, I understand.
So, I don't know, folks. I got some interesting, getting ready to do this show, we've got some interesting details here. The Fed says that inflation is up 5.4%.
Okay.
Turkeys, I think, are going to be up 27%.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. The Fed measures a different way to measure inflation, and their inflation is 3.6%. That's definitely lower than what we're experiencing, but it's actually a 30-year high.
Okay.
In their measurement.
Okay.
Most of our clients coming in are wondering what the heck is going on, and most of our clients are old enough to remember the 70s style inflation.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes, I do too.
Were you're younger than me, so you probably weren't really exposed to driving during the 70s.
No, but I remember very well. That's why Jimmy Carter only served one term, was that whole oil embargo thing.
It seemed like gas in one day went from like 25 cents a gallon to over $1. Then you had to wait in line for a half a day to even to get it. Mm-hmm. If you look at the market back in the 70s, it was not good.
No.
The decade of the 70s, folks, was essentially flat, but it had two 50% declines, two 50% bear markets in there.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was a difficult decade.
That was before I was watching the market. I was doing my paper route at the time.
Yeah, we could be in store for that again.
Yeah.
Here's some more statistics about inflation. This will blow you away. Last year, gas nationwide average was $2.16.
Yeah, it's gone up
today
$1.17 or so.
Today, its nationwide average is $3.36.
Okay,
it's up 56%.
Yep.
Now, I was looking just a moment ago at WTI crude. That's West Texas Intermediate. Listen to this. Last year in October, WTI crude was selling for $37.39 a barrel.
Okay.
This morning, it's $83.62.
Well, there was one point there where they were paying you to store the oil, a barrel of oil.
Yes.
So, I mean, even from that point in October, what was it, in May or so, it was basically free. If you could take a barrel of oil, it was free for you.
It actually went negative. The
right.
price went it was just a freaky futures, totally freaky, extraordinary, out of balance situation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know how you can tell when inflation is high? when Social Security cost of living adjustment is announced for the next year, and it's 5.9%.
Yeah.
When was the last time we saw 5.9%? I don't know the answer to that, but it has been decades.
I don't know, but I think it's trivia time, isn't it?
Is it trivia time already?
I think so.
So we're about to go on a break here, and then we're going to talk more about inflation. But here's our trivia question. Let's see if we can stump Doug. And I keep meaning to get that little bell thing going in here, and I need to get the buzzer if you get it wrong. Doug, there are 35 million pounds of this holiday treat made each year, which equals 9 billion pieces. There are 35 million pounds of this holiday treat made each year, equaling 9 billion pieces. What am I talking about? Folks, we've got to go to break, but stick around on the other side and let's see if Doug knows exactly what I'm talking about. Let's more importantly see if you know what we're talking about. We'll be back in just a moment.
I think I know.
And welcome back to the Wealth Guardians radio show on this holiday weekend. Happy Halloween or pre-Halloween to everybody out there. And happy birthday to me and anybody else who is having a birthday this weekend or at some point in the year. I want to ask you a question. If you're listening to us and you are around maybe 5 to 7 years from retirement and you're thinking that maybe you need to confirm that you are actually making the best financial decisions and planning for retirement, well, then I've got good news for you. As always, Doug and I here at the Wealth Guardians offer a no cost, no obligation second review of your current portfolio so we can tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and what might need to be improved so that your retirement is meeting all of your expectations. We teach you how to retire the job while keeping the paycheck, the best of both worlds. But the ball is in your court. You've got to, like always, you got to call us. We can't reach out to you. And our phone number is 336-391-3409. That's 336-391-3409. You can also visit us at The Wealth Guardians. Now, normally at this time, before I get to the trivia answer, I highlight a part of our website, which is thewealthguardians.com. But we've got a new technical accomplishment here where all you have to do is pick up your phone. You don't even have to go to our website anymore. If you pick up your phone and you text us at 336-391-3409 and you text us the number 4, SS, as in Social Security, FACS, F-A-C-T-S, 4SS FACS, we will send you a comprehensive 4 critical Social Security facts retirees must know. But you got to text us, 4SS FACS, at 336-391-3409. We've never offered this service before. We're stepping into the 22nd century, maybe that is, 21st century, whatever. We're stepping into the modern world and doing that thing that so many other places do. So try that out and see if that works for you. We would love to be able to send you that 4 critical Social Security facts retirees must know. Folks, if you think you have planned for retirement and you have never considered Social Security and how that is one of the legs of the retirement stool, along with pensions, 401ks, and investments, then you haven't really done financial planning. And we want to help you out with that. So give us a call, 336-391-3409. Now, getting back to our trivia question, as I asked Doug, there are 35 million pounds of this holiday treat meat each year, which equals 9 billion pieces. What am I talking about? Doug?
Well, first off, I don't know if we're stepping into the 22nd century. We might be stepping into something, but maybe not the 22nd.
We'll see how it works out.
Here's my guess. I think you're talking about those little candy corns you get around Halloween.
Ding, 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 ding,
I got it. All right.
Got it. That's right. 9 billion candy corn pieces made every year. Now, here's a backup trivia question to that. I'm not a big sweets person, but for some reason, I do love candy corn. I don't know why, but you could put cake in front of me, pie in front of me, have no desire to eat it.
I never cared for them.
But candy corn, I love it. Love it to death. And if you get any, send it to me, Doug. So here's the question. Candy corn, what was it originally called? It was not originally called candy corn.
I have no idea.
It's not appetizing. Chicken feed.
Really?
Because I guess chickens eat corn, so they were calling it chicken.
They called it chicken feed?
They called it chicken feed. Obviously, kids weren't too excited about getting chicken feed in their bag, so they change the name at some point to candy corn. Yes. And that is, and if we got just a real quick second here, do you know when we make a jack-o'-lantern out of pumpkins, do you know what they were originally made out of? They weren't made out of pumpkins because pumpkins are natural to North America and Central America. But that's obviously not where Halloween got its start.
I have no idea.
They were originally made out of turnips and potatoes because Halloween really kicked off originally in Ireland and Scotland.
How about that?
When they figured out when they came over to America, when the Irish came over to America, they realized, oh, hey, this fruit, these pumpkins, are much better to make jack-o'-lanterns out of.
Amazing.
So I'm just full of so much useless knowledge.
You really are. I mean, total full of it. Total.
But Doug's now going to fill us up with some useful knowledge, and we'll step away from my useless knowledge.
The first thing I want to do is tell everybody again about our last workshop of the year coming up November the 4th and the 9th, and that's on Social Security, and we're going to have Hamilton Morales again with us. It's been well over a year since he last did a workshop with us, and you don't want to miss him. He is excellent. And that's going to be November the 4th, November the 9th at 6:30. It's going to be in Clemens at the Broyhill. And all you have to do is call us at 336-391-3409 to register. You're going to need to register. I really am expecting a full house here. Or go on our website at thewealthguardians.com. There is an event tab. You can register right there. Again, November 4th and 9th, 6:30 in the evening.
Doug, why would somebody who is getting ready to retire be so concerned about filing for Social Security? I mean, a lot of people out there might think, I just file for Social Security when I reach my full retirement age. What's the big deal? Why do I need to know anything about it?
It's a major leg on your Social Security stool, if you want to call it that. And unfortunately for some, it's their only leg.
That's true. And there's a lot of different ways to file, and some can be very advantageous for you, much more so than filing in the wrong way. There's literally thousands, and particularly if you've been married or divorced in the past, there are a lot of different ways to file. And if you file the wrong way, after a year, you can't undo that filing strategy, and it might mean the difference of tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars difference in income for you in retirement. And you don't want to make that mistake, folks. If you've saved hard for retirement, why not make sure that you're using the right filing strategy for Social Security?
You know, to emphasize that, we've told this story before on the radio, but Brice, I want you to tell it again. People need to hear these kinds of stories. That couple that came in, they were divorced. Yeah. Tell that story again.
So we were doing some planning process with a couple, and they weren't technically married to each other, but they had been together for a number of years, and they were getting ready to retire. They were around 70 years old. And they think, well, we're going to file here at 70, which oftentimes makes the most sense to file at 70 because Social Security grows at 8% a year from your full retirement age up until 70 that you don't take it. And as we were concluding the meeting, one of them mentioned that they had been married before. And so you and I stopped and said, oh, wait, when you were married before, how long were you married? Oh, 10, 12, 15 years, something like that. Okay. And then we asked the woman that was there, have you been married too? Yes, I was married. How long were you married? Also around 12 years or so. So the thing is, neither of these people realize that there's something called ex-spousal benefits to Social Security. If you've been married for more than 10 years and you didn't remarry or are not married now before age 60, then you are entitled to half of your ex-spouse's benefit while not turning your own on. And that does not impact your ex-spouse and their benefits whatsoever. But they didn't know this. And they could have, at age 66 or even earlier, filed for Social Security off of their ex-spouses and while still working, and been taking those benefits in. They aren't able to go back and redo that. And they missed out. We did the math. They missed out on about $100,000 combined over the course of about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize, you cannot go back and get it. Once it's done, it's done. It's
Once
over.
You don't file.
Yeah.
They might let you go retro about 3 months or so, but that's about it.
Yeah. 100,000 laying on the table.
Folks, you do not want to be the next story that Doug and I are talking about on the radio. You want to be doing things right. So please, if you are getting ready to file, getting ready to retire, and you're not 100% sure what's in your best interest to file for Social Security, this is the type of seminar that you want to sit down with.
Yeah, and that is a sad story, but we got a ton of really good stories where we've helped people out. We don't have time to go into them. But these folks started by coming to a Social Security workshop. So again, I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse with this, but this is the last one of the year, and you need to come.
Yeah.
November 4th and 9th.
And don't think, please, that you can go to the Social Security office and get advice from them. That's like trying to go to the IRS and get tax filing advice. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
They are not certified in the way that Doug and I are certified. Plus, they're not designed to give you advice. They will give you an answer to a direct question. Can I file this way? But if your question starts off with should, they're not going to answer that question. We will answer that question for you.
And while we're on the topic, may I invite you in to our office for a second opinion on your retirement. It will include a Social Security optimization along with a host of other things. You'll end up, even if you don't work with us, you'll end up with the most comprehensive retirement plan you've ever had. It'll be written and bound in a hardbound binder for you to take, and it's free. It's no obligation. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call us, 336-391-3409. So, Brice, we've been talking about inflation for most of the show today. Let's spend the last few minutes and kind of wrap things up. You know, our planning does include an inflation factor, and if you don't have inflation built into your retirement plan, you're missing out on a lot. In fact, you may have a faulty retirement plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm looking at our situation, and we've been using 3.6%, which is the 100-year average of inflation. Obviously, things right now are running much higher than that. I'm kind of thinking that probably for the next several months, year or so, we might want to kick it up to 4, maybe even 4.5% for the planning, just to see how things shake out. Let's hope this is transitory inflation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's it going to take to knock inflation back? I remember what happened to get rid of the 70s inflation. Do you?
Let's see. To get rid of the 70s inflation, that's when Reagan came into office and lowered taxes.
Lowered taxes, but more importantly, what really killed inflation is Federal Reserve Chairman Paul Volcker dramatically increased interest rates.
Okay.
And everybody remembers, they come into our office and they say, oh, gee, I can remember back in the early 80s getting 13, 14% CDs. Well, it was because of that, but that also created 18% mortgage rates.
That's right.
And it hurt the economy. Reagan was not very well liked the first couple years of his presidency.
That's right.
He was not.
He turned that around by the time of his reelection.
Yeah. But it did kill inflation. Now, is the Fed going to have to do that this time around?
Well, they can't lower them.
They can't lower. That's not going to work. What they can do, they have been stuffing the economy full of money.
That's why nobody's going back. We're starting to call this the Great Resignation now.
Yep. So what they can do is they can start turning that dial back. They call it tapering.
Yes.
There's been talk of that. The markets haven't reacted to that talk yet. We'll see how things go. I will tell you, I have been calling for this stock market to go down and go down in a big way. And if they get serious about tapering or raising interest rates, you're going to see the stock market fall out of bed next year, folks. I promise you that.
It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
I think they were waiting for a lot of people to get back to work before they do that. But if people just aren't willing to go back to work, then why wait?
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's a lot of good topics there, Doug, and we're going to cover those, inflation, Social Security, all those things when you sit down and meet with us. But, folks, we're going to let you have the rest of the weekend to yourself here. Hope you have a great Halloween weekend, Doug. I hope your teams win. I hope my teams win for a change. And everybody else out there, whatever your team may be, I hope you win. And kids, I hope you have a great Halloween. And we will see you here next week. Have a good one, folks.